Hello everyone, this is Deepak and in today's video of mine, I am going to tell you a very important topic which is there prescribed in almost all teaching examinations, whether it is CTET, stet or any other state teaching examinations, right? So this topic would help you further to score well in almost every teaching examination, right? And before we get into the video, let me confess one thing that I'm going to start this very series of called CDP. So we'll be covering each and everything, and I'm sure this very series of mine would help you further to score well and everything, right? So please be with me and let's focus, let's concentrate on the topic. Thank you. So start. So see. First thing that we are going to start is motivation. Motivation. What do you mean by motivation? From where the word motivation has been taken, right? So let me tell you, the word motivation has some root, and from which word the motivation has been taken, we'll understand. So first understand, the word motivation has been taken from the word called motive. Okay, so motivation has been derived from the word motive. So motive is the root word, root word of motivation, right? Motivation. So if motive is the root word of motivation, then what does motive mean? This is the question. Okay, let's understand. Motivation means a need that requires satisfaction. Try to understand satisfaction, right? Any need of ours, whether it is physical need, whether it is emotional need, whether it is psychological need, financial need, social need or any other need. Once our need requires any kind of satisfaction, we'll search for motivation, right? Any need of ours. Suppose for example, we have, we need money, right? So for money, we know that if we earn, then we can get money, right? So once our need gets satisfaction, gets fulfilled, this is called motivation. So this is the root word called motive, and this is the meaning of word motive. When there is any need and that need of ours requires any sort of satisfaction, is called motivation. So this is the meaning of motivation, and I am sure everyone must have understood, right? And once you have understood the meaning of motivation, let's understand what are the types of motivation, right? So generally in psychology, we understand motivation is of two types, right? So motivation can be of two types. Motivation can be of two types, right? First is called intrinsic motivation, right? And second is called extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation, right? And this intrinsic motivation is also called internal motivation, and this is called external motivation, right? This is very simple, just pay attention, you will understand it in a very simple manner, right? So see, when we say intrinsic motivation, when the locus of control, okay, let me make you understand in this way. The desire to do something, to do something, if that desire is coming from within, from oneself, it is called intrinsic motivation, right? For example, if someone wants to become an IAS or an IPS, and that very self desire is coming from within, we can say that the man is motivated intrinsically, or he is motivated internally, right? So a man who is motivated internally can do great work in his life, right? And extrinsic motivation means external motivation. For example, a man who wants to become an IAS or an IPS, and this motivation of becoming an IAS or IPS is coming from around the person, from society, from relatives, from friends. So we can say that this man is motivated externally, means the motivation is not coming from within, the motivation is coming from without, right? In this case, in extrinsic motivation, the motivation comes from without. Without means external world, without means the world around us, right? So this is called extrinsic motivation. And the desire to do something, if that desire is coming from within, within means that person is motivated internally. And if you ask me which motivation is important to do any great thing in one's life, so I would say intrinsic motivation, because intrinsic motivation is something that would enable you, that would help you to get what you have ever dreamt of, right? And it would help you to get effortlessly, because you are motivated intrinsically or internally. So intrinsic motivation or internal motivation is much more required than extrinsic motivation. I am not saying that extrinsic or external motivation has no value, it doesn't have any importance. Of course, it has its own importance, but at the same time, intrinsic motivation is more important than extrinsic motivation, alright? So I hope you may have understood types of motivation. So motivation is of two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. The locus of control, see, two things you should always remember. The locus of control. The locus of control in intrinsic motivation is within, and the locus of control in extrinsic motivation without. It means the locus of control, your self desire, your self intention, your self desire has been derived, it has been regulated from within. Your self desire is being regulated from within, it means you are motivated internally. And if your self desire is regulated, if it is driven by some external cause, from society, from relatives, from friends, from any one of your colleagues, it means you are motivated externally, means your locus of control is without, and in this case your locus of control is within. Alright, I hope you may have understood this point, and if you have understood, let me go ahead. So now pay attention and we'll see. You must have heard the word name Maslow. So he has very beautifully given a hierarchy of needs. So see, Maslow says, to him hierarchy of human needs. He says what may be the best hierarchy, what may be the most beautiful hierarchy of human needs. As I told you, we are human beings, we need many things, right? We may have different kind of needs, psychological needs, emotional needs, physical needs, and n number of needs, right? So it was Maslow who gave a theory called hierarchy of human needs, one point, and second thing that he gave, the theory of human motivation. The theory of human motivation. Alright, theory of human motivation and hierarchy of human needs. So theory of human motivation we understood so far. Alright, now we will be understanding hierarchy of human needs. What does Maslow say about human needs? So according to Maslow, human needs go from 1 to 5 or 6 level. Means human needs go on increasing way in a ascending order, right? For example, let's understand. See, Maslow says, hierarchy of needs, according to this, he says, we human beings first need physiological needs. And once our physiological needs gets fulfilled, then we search for safety needs. And once our safety needs gets fulfilled, then we search for love and belonging needs. and after this self-esteem needs, and then self-actualization needs. So basically human needs, the needs that we are having, it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, from 1 to 5, right, from in ascending order, right. So according to Maslow, what is psychological needs? When we talk about psychological needs, as a human beings, we need a very fundamental things to survive on the planet. For example, we need we need air. So let me wait. We need air, we need clothes, we need food, we need we need resources. These are fundamental needs that we need, otherwise we cannot think in terms of surviving on this planet. And these needs are called physiological needs according to Maslow. So these are called physiological needs, and these needs are very important. Unless or until we get these needs, we cannot think about another needs. So these needs are foundation, very basic. We must have these things, otherwise we cannot think in terms of any other thing, right. Once our physiological needs get fulfilled, then we'll think about safety needs. Okay, so in safety needs, what come? In safety need, security, self-security comes. For example, once the man gets some foods, clothes and proper houses to live in, after that man tries to secure his life. So this is called self-security. So safety needs means self-security. Once our safety needs get fulfilled, then we think about love and belonging needs. So in love, in this need, we need relationship, then we need love, then we need intimacy and etc. So all these needs are called love and belonging needs that we human beings need. In absence of such needs, we cannot think in terms of human life. So these are very essential needs that we must have, right. And once our third needs get fulfilled, then we search for self-esteem needs. Self-esteem means you can say self-respect, self-esteem and kind of things, right. So in self-esteem needs, self-respect, right, self-respect, recognition, then reputation, then prestige, right, So we need self-esteem needs, and once our first, second, third and fourth needs get fulfilled effortlessly, then definitely we'll move towards the last need, and that is self-actualization. What is self-actualization need? Self-actualization need means you are in a state where you don't need anything. You just want to live peacefully. You just achieved everything, and now you want to enjoy all achieved things, and you want to live peacefully. You want to motivate others. You want to guide others. So this very need is very important. Very few people come to this very point, and once a man comes to this point, he is called the most renowned and most eminent personality, who is guiding the world, who is mentoring the world, and who is teaching the world in the most tremendous manner, right. So according to Maslow, we human beings have different needs. We have psychological needs, we have safety needs, we have love, belonging needs, we have self-esteem needs, we have self-actualization needs. So our needs go from 1 to 5. So it goes on in increasing, right, in increasing manner, right. So this is all that Maslow has given, and this very thing that you have understood so far, it is called a Maslow hierarchy of needs. That we human beings must have at any cost. Otherwise, we cannot think in terms of anything in our life, right? Now, once you have understood these very two things, we understood motivation, then we understood Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the last thing that we are going to understand is what is the cycle of motivation, how motivation works in human life, how it affects us, how it happens in our life. So let's understand. See, this is very important. This is motivation cycle that we human beings go through it intentionally or unintentionally, knowingly or unknowingly. But once we are motivated from anything, this cycle applies in our life, right? So let's understand this. This is called motivation cycle, right? So this motivation cycle works. For example, first of all, we human beings, we have some needs. We have some needs, right? As I told you, a man can have different needs. Someone may have physical needs, someone may have psychological needs, someone may have emotional needs, someone may have relationship needs, someone may have different kinds of needs. So on and so forth, right? So once we have need, then what? Our needs drive us. What? Our need drives us. Our need drives us to get it. Our needs drive us to achieve it, right? So our needs get generated within us, okay? And once we have need, then those needs drive us, those needs push us forward, right? And once this need drive us, then it creates arousal. Arousal means excitement, you can say, excitement. Okay, so first let's understand this cycle, very important cycle of motivation. First, we have some sort of needs, that needs drive us, and after driving, that driving results into arousal, means it creates excitement within us. Okay, and after this arousal, we move towards goal directed behavior. Right? Very important, try to understand. First we have needs, right? That needs drive us. After driving, it creates arousal within us, it creates excitement within us, and after that it helps us to act accordingly, it helps us to move in that way. So basically it creates goal directed behavior within us, okay? And once it creates goal directed behavior within us, then it helps us to get the result. Of course, it is achievement. Right? So achievement here, and then again the reduction of arousal. Reduction of arousal. Very important, try to understand. This is how motivation cycle works in our life, whether you know it or don't. So this motivation cycle works in our life. First, we have some needs, that need drive us. After driving, it creates some arousal within us, and after arousal, it helps us to act accordingly, okay? Then it helps us to get the result, and once we get the result, for example, someone wants to become an IAS, okay? And once he cracked UPSC, then what do you think? The same level of motivation will always be there within that person? No. So after achievement, after getting what we have thought of, then a cycle starts called reduction of arousal, means excitement or the arousal related to that thing starts depleting in human life, and again we create some new needs, then again the cycle goes on, right? So in today's class we understood motivation, types of motivation, then we understood hierarchy of human needs according to Maslow, then we understood the Maslow's theory of motivation, and at last we understood how motivation cycle works in our life. This video would help you every day in almost all teaching examinations which are conducted in India. It starts from CTET, stet, and any other teaching examination. It also helps in NET examination, CSIR, NET, and simple NET, everything. So this video would prove very vital for every one of you. Thank you for watching. Thank you.